To introduce our Ibo Balton Community Planner Award, please welcome to the stage the Commissioner for the Department of Buildings, Ahmed Tigani, and Executive Vice President of Public Policy at REBNY, Basha Gerhards.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ibo Balton was an urban planner and a visionary whose career and impassioned work helped provide affordable housing and a much-needed sense of empowerment to the communities where he was involved. During his almost 20 years at HPD, he worked tirelessly to plan and help bring millions of dollars of government and private investment to create thousands of units of affordable housing in Harlem and to help Harlem recover from the trauma of abandonment and disinvestment.
CHPC's Ibo Balton Award Committee, composed of his friends and colleagues, as well as recent recipients of the award, worked together to select an exceptional individual who shares a passion for affordable housing and community planning, and who helps honor Ibo's memory through their commitment to this work.
This afternoon, we are incredibly honored to help recognize Michael Sandler as the recipient of the 2026 Ibo Balton Community Planner Award. Yep.
Woo!
Bestowing him with this amazing honor feels especially fitting because everything Michael embodies is the very essence of what this award represents.
Both of us got to know Michael earlier in our careers when all our paths converged at the same unrenovated Manhattan Borough President's office. Our ragtag group of planners, armed with a twinkle in our eyes and outdated copies of the zoning handbook because budgets were tight, tried to do good work without losing our minds in the process. Very quickly, you understood something important about Michael. His work was grounded in a profound respect for the histories and stories that shape our communities. He carried a deep appreciation for public servants, the people who show up every day to deliver essential services and hold our neighborhoods together. And he held an unshakable belief in the power of civic engagement, not as an abstract idea, but as a responsibility.
What is more impressive is that Michael has the extraordinary ability to take these values and turn them into action. He has developed a way of thinking and working that elevates everything he touches, from individual projects to plans that span scores of city blocks. What truly sets him apart is not just the scale of his work, but the integrity behind it.
For Michael, success is never defined solely by the final product. It is also defined by the process, by whether the community feels heard, respected, and reflected in the outcome. He ensures that the voices, the effort, and the vision shared are not lost along the way, but instead become the foundation of what is ultimately created.
This is powerful. Michael does not just shape plans, he builds trust. He does not just engage communities, he uplifts them. He reminds all of us that the work we do matters most when people can see themselves in it. From Brownsville to Bed-Stuy, from resilient Edgemere to Jerome Avenue, from Bay Street to Gowanus, from Soho and NoHo to Harlem, these neighborhood plans are imprinted with Michael's thoughtfulness and his unbending determination to see HPD's investments aligned with essential infrastructure delivery and tangible wins for the communities that gave their time and their energy to these processes.
Through Where We Live, City of Yes, the Equitable Development Data Explorer, and the Fair Housing Framework, Michael has made invaluable contributions. He has supported not only HPD, but housing leaders citywide in thinking about how to move this work forward. We do have to pause and admit this was not our first approach to this speech.
So, I'm sorry, Michael, but our gut reaction at first was what could be a better moment than to use this to highlight some of your lesser-known qualities. For instance, your truly groundbreaking work in the field of mini paper and binder clip office sculptures that famously was displayed across every available ledge in the Manhattan Borough President's office. And honestly, OSHA still has questions that they have to ask you about.
Or your equally impressive collection of empty Diet Coke cans. So vast, we briefly considered using them to build furniture for onboarding new employees. But then we figured your knack for discovering the best lunch spots on our community board walking tours would be a better experience for all.
So yes, obviously we had ideas about how we wanted to talk about Michael, but then we realized something better. We would just take this moment on one of our housing community's biggest and best stages to just simply say thank you.
Thank you, Michael, for being an incredible planner, for making all of us better planners, for embodying both compassion and grit in the way you work and lead, and for being an exemplary member of this housing community.
For all of this and for the example he sets every day, it is our honor to celebrate Michael as a truly deserving, wonderful recipient of the Ibo Balton Award.
Thank you, Ahmed and Basha, for that very generous and somewhat embarrassing introduction. I have gotten a lot better about the Diet Coke cans, but it's still a bit of a mess on the desk. I'll also say that Ahmed made me buy a suit for this. I made it about 15 years without wearing one, but he told me he would disown me if I came up here without one. I'd like to congratulate the other honorees. I think you've already heard, but Richard and Alec were pleased to report that HPD is already in front of the City Council with our first ever ELERP. So thank you for helping us to speed through so much red tape with that process. This is a little bit overwhelming. I do a lot of public speaking, but usually the setting leans a little bit more middle school gymatorium or East New York street corner, and the crowd is usually a bit smaller and with fewer distinguished colleagues. I'm honored to be here today to accept the Ibo Balton Community Planner Award, and I do so as a representative of all of the planners and civil servants in HPD's Office of Neighborhood Strategies, many of whom are here with us today. Thank you to CHPC for honoring and elevating our work. I never had the opportunity to meet Ibo, but I'm glad to be part of a team who carry on his legacy today. In his 20 years at HPD, Ibo helped heal the wounds of abandonment, redlining, and disinvestment in Harlem. Ibo and his colleagues planned together with communities, revitalizing them building by building and block by block. Yet today, almost 20 years after Ibo's passing, that work remains unfinished, and persistent and deep disparities remain among our city's neighborhoods. City government has too often failed to meet the moment, it has been too uncaring or uncoordinated, and some communities have been left with unlit streets, unclean parks, and so many vacant lots. Ironically, the very tool we need to solve our problems. Vacant lots are a daily nuisance, a target for dumping, an eyesore, and a symbol of government inaction. People who know me know that I'm kind of obsessed with vacant lots. I have a running list of all of my least favorite ones, excuse me. And if you tell me a neighborhood, I'll tell you about that one vacant lot or abandoned building or parking lot that I'm just dying to get my hands on. They're a huge part of how I found my way into planning. As a young organizer knocking doors in St. Louis, vacant lots were a clear marker between communities of opportunity and those that had been forgotten. I would ride my bike to the 60-acre site of the demolished Pruitt-Igoe development, which had been abandoned for 40 years. On the way, I would pass whole blocks with only 1 or 2 homes remaining. I couldn't figure out how we got here or what to do about it. At the time, the city was considering a controversial plan to redevelop the whole north side of St. Louis. A developer spent years secretly buying homes and lots through anonymous LLCs, and he had a master plan. He wanted the city to pay for it and for them to give him the Pruitt-Igoe site. I thought there must be a better way. We're supposed to be living in a democracy. A few years later, I found my way to HPD after some formative years in the trenches of Manhattan land use politics. I came because I heard about this new team they were starting, the Office of Neighborhood Strategies, that was going to do real community planning. The people I met and learned from at HPD showed me that I was right back in St. Louis, that there was a better way to do this. Starting in Edgemere and Brownsville, through Where We Live NYC and our Jewel Streets plan, I learned from the incredible team at ONS how to have conversations about change that is rooted in hope and opportunity, and that can lead to a vision for development that communities feel ownership over and will fight for instead of against. I also learned how incredibly hard it is to turn those plans into reality. The levers of government are powerful, but they are rusty and heavy and hard to move. It takes grit and dedication, technical skills, and sometimes an unwillingness to accept no for an answer to make possible the impossible. I am so grateful to be part of a team that does that. It's the honor of a lifetime to get to do this work. Together, we're going to fill in these vacant lots with new housing, art centers, grocery stores, and hopefully some restaurants, or whatever communities can dream up to create places of joy and togetherness and opportunity. Please indulge me just a few moments to thank some of the people that I've learned from over the years and who have believed in me. First, Gail Brewer and the whole Brew crew, who inherited me as a squatter in their office and showed me what responsive and representative government means. The leaders who created the Office of Neighborhood Strategies, Vicki Bean and Daniel Hernandez, who gave us this incredible platform for change. My managers over the last decade, Simon Kowitsky, Layla Bozorg, Ahmed Tigani, and now Dina Levy. Collectively, you've helped teach me patience, and you've harnessed my stubborn, cranky, and frankly insubordinate nature into something moderately productive for society. And my family, my partner Sarah, who's here today, a fellow civil servant, who's my inspiration for what it looks like to center justice in our daily work. It has a lot of patience for all my late night meetings. Thank you, Sarah. And finally, and most importantly, sorry, Sarah, I want to thank my teammates and fellow schemers, everyone in the Office of Neighborhood Strategies, and our partners across HPD. There are too many to name, and I'm afraid to leave anyone out, but I want to thank you for everything you do to make our city a better place. Now let's get back to work.